Hello, hello, a little truck talk with the Concrete Yogi. I wanted to make this into a post because this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a long time and never really got around to it. It's something that I talk about, all with my students, with other teachers, with friends, all the time. But I wanted to come on today and kind of relay it to you guys in a more complete sense. It won't be a long video or anything, but I did want to make a couple of references to at least try to clarify some misunderstandings that are going on around in the yoga community, especially in the modern times. So one thing that we're doing too often is we're confusing the yoga teachings with the business of yoga, and how people might be able to build a business around this sacred science and this ancient science, and then that business becomes very popular, and that popularity brings a lot more people. And because there's a lot more people think then that the teachings that are going on within that business, they must be in some way valid. That's not true. All right, I want to make that point right off the bat. That's just not true. I'm sure there's some places where it is, right, where their popularity, their influence, their influx of students, came from the authenticity, came from the traditional and the historical lens of the practice. And I know from my own teachings, from my own teacher down in South Florida, Anutara Yoga is one of those places. It's wildly popular. There's 50, 60 people in almost every single class. It's amazing. And the reason that it is so popular, it's not because it's popular, it's because it's speaking of truths. It's teaching of divine truths that have been around for thousands of years. Has it been able to be more modernized and brought more flavor and more modern taste? Then yes, absolutely. And the music's there, and the community is very vibrant, and all of that kind of lends to the building of a yoga community. So when I hear people claim that other teachers they must be teaching yoga because there's a big number of people, and it must be in some way helping people because there's a big number of people, I immediately want to make references to a couple names, and this is the main point that I want to make. Bikram. Okay, we all know about Bikram now, but when he was teaching, if he was known about how horrible he is while he was teaching, we wouldn't be saying, well, he was trained by Vishnu Ghosh at all. We would never say that. The things that he did, the ways that he acted, they're inexcusable. They're reprehensible. So they should not be acknowledged as something that came from Vishnu Ghosh. He didn't teach him to act like that. So in the same way, just because someone was taught by someone else that has a big name, or their name has become a style of yoga, that's not something that's impressive. It's not something that validates their teachings at all. I want to make that very, very clear. At all. In the text, the Bhagavad Gita, we know of Duryodhana. He is fighting on the side of evil, the side of the negative. And Duryodhana, one of his teachers, was Dronacharya. Dronacharya was a great man. And he also taught the 5 Pandavas, the side of good. He taught those 5 brothers that were fighting on the side of good. So we couldn't say, oh, Duryodhana, he must be a good guy because he did study under No. Drona as the teacher is Drona. Duryodhana as the student is Duryodhana. They are completely separate people, and we can't create that connection. This brings me back to my next point. If you do use the teachings from a prior teacher to gather a large amount of people, that doesn't tell me your intention is pure. That doesn't tell me that you're trying to help or serve or save anyone's, mind and heart and life in the meditative and philosophical and sacred scientific way. It's just not going to be the case. You can regurgitate what someone else taught you. You can teach their style, their words, and use their popularity to build your own business, and that does not mean that their intention translates into your own. And I can give an example for that one too, and this is another big name. John Jones. Yeah. When we use the teachings of other people to gather people, you might end up being handed a cup of Kool-Aid that doesn't have that great of side effects. All right, so we don't have to go into detail or depth. If you guys know these names, you know they're the perfect examples. And Duryodhana, if you know that story from the Bhagavad Gita, these are perfect examples to why we don't just say, oh, well, that teacher has a lot of people, so they must be teaching yoga. That person studied from another teacher that was a good teacher, so they must be a good teacher. This is not the way it is. And unfortunately, these things get perpetuated. They get regurgitated. They get believed, truly believed. And then that is what makes the yoga community what it is nowadays. That's what made the society so egoistic, so divisive, so overly sensualized and brought to the level of the physical and nothing else. That's why it's become so whitewashed and completely stolen from its history and its culture. It's because of that we think that, well, as long as that person studied from someone else, then whatever they teach in the room, it's true. No, the teacher, the proper teacher should be able to study to such great depth, to such great length, that they will not have to regurgitate. They won't have to just be scripted and utilize, what was I told the other day? More traditional flows, like a Baptiste flow. Like we hear these things and we think, whether it's Baptiste or Ashtanga or whatever the traditional physical practice is, if we think that that's traditional yoga, we are still making it more and more physical. We're still watering down the science, the philosophy, the meditative practice that really is yoga. So it doesn't matter. And I am that type, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I guess maybe I'm just a little bit more ready to be opposed to it. There was a lot of times where it's kind of just like, they have a big class, they must be a good teacher. No, man. Now you could put on a great playlist and some people will show up for it. You could have a room that's really hot and sweaty and people will show up for it because they don't know that it's meditation. You could have here we go. Another thing, while I'm on this, that great teacher, if you learn from them and then hurt yourself, they should be able to help you heal yourself. If you're going to a practice once or twice a week and you find yourself being injured from the practice, and there's specific areas, especially like front of the deltoid, front shoulder, hips, low back, there's areas, knees, there's areas that when I hear teachers are hurting themselves or students are hurting themselves from yoga and it's in those areas, I know that they're either not being watched carefully enough or they haven't been giving proper cues to avoid those injuries so they can practice safely. So when you hear that someone is just the best teacher, but then their students are hurt all the time and they don't know how to heal themselves, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Like, this is a great chef. I just get food poisoning every time I eat with them. Oh, awesome. But the place is so popular. It's packed. Everybody's used to getting food poisoning. No, the music's good. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely alone in this. You guys can tell me, please tell me in the comments if I'm losing my marbles. But yeah, no. Had to jump on. Just wanted to get that out there. Truck talks are kind of my place for that. I just do a little ranting and rambling, and maybe it falls on some ears that will be able to use that. If you walk into a class and there's 50 other people, doesn't mean it's a good teacher. It just doesn't. If you walk into a class and it's 100 degrees, doesn't mean it's a good teacher. If you walk into a class and the person has their certificates all over the wall of all the different people, that too doesn't mean it's a good teacher. Is the person authentic? Do they honor the tradition? Do they stick to the science? Can they teach you of the science? Can they teach you of the philosophy? And if it comes anatomically, if we're just going to talk strict asana, strictly anatomically, then are you getting hurt in the practice? And if you are they helping you heal yourself? Or maybe you go to a class and you say, not only do I never feel hurt, but I feel better. My shoulders feel better. My hips feel better. My low back feels better. That's the way it should be. And with a knowledgeable and aware teacher, someone that's on point and present for all the students, from one student, I've taught 60 people. Doesn't mean that was a great version of me when I was teaching 60 people on the beach. That wasn't the best classes I've ever taught, and none of that goes into me believing that those 60 people were there because I'm the best. No, it's just the stars aligned and we love a full moon. But having that energy, having that amount of people around you, are you still able to keep track of them? Keeping them from injuring themselves, keeping them safe and secure and stable in the posture so that they can enjoy those last few postures in meditative bliss and not feel tense or stress or, God forbid, injured. My goodness. What a horrible place to be if you're in a yoga practice and you're not getting therapeutic guidance. And you have to remove yourself from the community or the person that you claimed was your teacher so that you could go to get physical therapy and, God forbid, surgeries and stuff. If we have corrective exercises, if we have corrective and fundamental movement patterns that we can utilize to keep ourselves safe and strong and secure and practice appropriately with longevity, then that's the only way we're going to want to practice. That's it. I don't want to go to a teenager class and feel youthful if it means that the next few months I'm going to be hurt, right? In the same way, I don't want to go to a class for the elderly, a chair class, or no, not chair class. Some chair classes are crazy difficult. But if I don't want to go to a class for the elderly and then feel undermotivated, underutilized, feel too soft in my joints and, needing that security and that rigidity in the body to hold it upright, to have proper posture and have longevity, we would need some kind of muscle. So I couldn't keep going to restorative practices and then expect my body to hold itself up in the same way in my later years. I would need to have that balance. I would need to find that proper balance. So it's very, very important. It's very, very important. This is for teachers. This is for students. If you've never ever once done yoga before, it's so important to know these kinds of things. A big room doesn't mean a good teacher. The certs on their wall, where they studied, who they studied under, doesn't mean a good teacher. It's, do they practice? Do they know their stuff? Can they help you? Can they attempt to heal an injury if you've got it? And if they can't, it's no slight against them, okay? I'm so grateful that I've banged my body up. I've hurt myself enough to be able to correct a lot of different injuries and help with a lot of different injuries. But if that person's not able to, maybe they go home and they do the research. So the next time they see that practitioner or student, they are able to then give them some kind of guidance to assist them towards healing. That's what a proper teacher would do. They wouldn't just say, no, go to a doctor, get some physical therapy and, skip the pose. No. There's ways that we can make that practice on the mat as therapeutic as anything else. So it's important to find that teacher. Find that teacher that resonates with you. Find that teacher that knows their stuff, that honors the history, that honors the culture, that's not appropriating the word yoga. That is a Sanskrit word. Yoga has a meaning. Doesn't mean stretching, doesn't mean exercise. So knowing that it has much deeper of a meaning, we should then know what the asana is used for and in what way that should be practiced. There's a lot. It's almost like this practice has been around for thousands and thousands of years, and it shouldn't ever be watered down by lineages of people that are okay with it and students of those teachers that are supportive of it. We need to nip it in the butt. We need to stop allowing that to be the normal. Stop allowing that to be the status quo, is that the lineages just get more and more watered down until we're left going, well, at least a lot of people show up, or at least they did study from that person. It's love. It's a science of love. It's a science of unity, of connection, of liberation, of overcoming strife and struggle, of clearing obstacles out of your life so that you can have eternal peace and oneness. Why on God's green earth would we ever allow this to become watered down? Again, you guys, please let me know in the comments if I'm just out of my mind, but I don't know. I don't think this one is that crazy. I hope you're having a blessed day. It's Mother's Day, so if you're a mother, hope you're having a beautiful Mother's Day. If you're watching this and it's not Mother's Day, I hope you, if you're a mother, are having a great day, or your mother is having a great day, or all the mothers are having it. Oh my goodness. You're loved. You're loved, you're appreciated, and if you made it this far, my goodness, I really appreciate you for listening to the ramblings of a yogic lunatic. But something that I wanted to get off my chest and clarify. Oh, last thing. 5. The guy that has the guy that has 5 students, Adi Shankaracharya, he's looked at, he's praised, he's revered as the teacher of yoga. For so many, almost every single lineage of yoga that studies and utilizes those ancient texts, the science, to get to their goal of realization, they see Shankara, Adi Shankaracharya, they see him as the teacher. And when he was alive, he had 5 students, 5 followers. So, yeah, that's my best way to make that point. We don't need crowds. We need proper teachings, and we need it always to be led with love. Peace, 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 and you're loved. Hope you have a great day. See you soon.